I turned around. It's fine. Good morning, everyone. We're going to give him a second. There he is. Fred, it's all yours, my friend.
I was talking. I was talking with my head turned. I forgot I had muted my mic. I said, pardon me. I said, I'm going to give you a new name.
Ooh.
Turn it over, Tiff.
I like that. Yes, turn it over, Tiff.
Now, everyone, listen. I don't want you to be as serious as Deep is right now. Okay, everyone, relax. Oh, there he goes. Anyway, Chris, is it cold out there? Where are you, Alaska?
Tallahassee, it's 53 degrees.
That's why I live in South Florida. Wow, that's amazing. You're all bundled. Is it 53? Wow, isn't that amazing? What a how many miles? Let's see. It's 450 miles, I think, right? From South Florida. Wow, it's amazing.
Correct.
Yeah. Anyway, well, good to see you. Let me just start out with this. What is mindset? Put in the chat what you think mindset is. Okay, let's just start with that, because I was sitting on the beach at I think it was 10:05 a.m. and I left about 7:15 a.m. this morning, and I was sitting there and I said, wow, mindset is not what everyone thinks it is, including myself. What is mindset? Let's just start with that. I mean, that's a great place to start. Put it in the chat. Willpower. Okay, 1 second. All right, perfect. Mindset. Someone says, hey, and we talk about it. We hear it. We think we understand. It's your belief of what you're able to achieve. Okay. Mindset. What is mindset? See what I mean? We use these words just like success. What is success? By the way, what is success? If anyone quotes it verbatim, if you quote my quote in the name of my manuscript, I will give you $25 cash. What's the definition of success? Okay, self-perception, mindset. Success is the headspace you're in, okay, whether positive or negative, way of thinking. Perfect. All right. By the way, success. Let's see if Andres. Hey, by the way, Andres is my director of operations, and so glad to have him back. August. He came back. He had a big project at a national company he was working on. Got finished that and came back, and we've been having a ball. He came back August the 1st, 5 days with me. He got COVID, was out 7 days. Then I had to go to a conference, and he was going in to get a Schedule ALF repair. By the way, this is all part of the top. Keep putting that in there, by the way, as we're going to come back to that. But anyway, I've got to go to this conference, and I need him to back me up. He goes in for a typical outpatient ALF. He ends up with a collapsed lung in surgery, 7-8 days in the hospital. So this has been since August 1st. And you know when it was? About the same time I started this series called Circumstances. After he gets out, I have a real serious family situation, both with my ex, who is now, her health is failing rapidly, and to the point they were putting her in hospice, and I rescued her. And when I say I rescued her, that's not pounding my chest, folks. It's just the power of love. Got her up, got her walking. They had her bedridden. I had her walking in about 3 days. And undoing the belief systems of the doctors and the medications they had her on. So my circumstances, I ended up in the hospital a week later with a blocked upper intestinal situation, now lower. Got some tests to do, finish up next week. So the circumstance, don't ever start a series called Circumstances. I think you know what you're talking about. And I'm kind of hesitating today to go where I'm thinking of going, about thinking I know what mindset is, because God's going to step up again and say, oh, you really think you know, Fred? Do you really think you know? But anyway, let's just go back here quick. All right, mindset, your belief, self-perception, way of thinking, set of attitudes, all correct. There's no, ACL, what did I say, ALF, ACL surgery. Yeah, collapsed lung. We know what that is, collapsed lung. Mindset to me is the state in which one places positive or negative. Yeah, I would say mindset is almost like love. Love is not what you do, it's what you are, right? And once we realize that's all we are, we're two things, either love or fear, love or fear, love or fear, love or fear. And mindset is not what you do or what you think, it's what you are. The mindset is it should be the same mind that we got here with, the mind of the creator, the mind that the little kids use before they get reprogrammed, the creative side, that you've got that natural mind that you got here with, that is not blocked and all this other stuff, which happens because of our programming. So I'm gonna quickly overview the circumstances situation, and then we're gonna get into our three guests today. Stay tuned. This is a powerful, powerful panel today. I'm excited, and it's kind of the spectrum. But I'm gonna share my screen just quickly. And this, I'm really going to be honest with everybody. I do love every single one of you from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to talk about the speech fashion in a minute. I really do love you all from the bottom of my heart. But you know why I do this? I do it for me, because I need it daily. I need it hourly. But anyway, you know what the Wednesdays were about, the mindset and the will set and the skill set, but mainly the belief system, the belief systems. This statistic is as false as it can get, that happiness depends on you. 50% of it's genetics. Dr. Bruce Lipton shoots a hole in that with a thing called epigenetics. By the way, this is in the document in the Google Drive SMOST. If you don't have it, Tiffany could put it in, or I'll put it in, because Joe's not here. Tiff, is that right? Is Joe not with us today? He's used to that link.
No, I'm here. He's not, but you can send it over to me and I'll drop him.
Yeah, I'll find it. Yeah, I'll get in a second. But all this is in there, but you've got to study Dr. Bruce Lipton. We've got to become experts on ourselves. And the number one person and the number one thing you have to be sold on and sell every day is sell yourself on yourself, and do away with these freaking belief systems. Every single one of us. If I could reveal to you what I've been through with my family and situations, not because there's no love, not because there's anything else. Everybody's got bad belief systems. We believe in the drug system. We believe in the medical system. We believe in the religious system. We believe in this system. We believe in that system. And we think someone's going to come and rescue us. But we don't believe in that natural state that we got here with. The co-creator, full of love, full of hope, full of happiness, full of everything else, until we got reprogrammed the first 7 years of our life. Dr. Bruce Lipton again, first 7 years of our life, repeated over and over and over again. So, get away from those. We talked about circumstances. It's only a state of being matters. Okay, circumstances don't matter. It really doesn't. I've learned experience a greater part of happiness. Misery depends on your dispositions, not in our circumstances. The hell with circumstances. That's where I am today. The hell with circumstances. I'm creating opportunities on it. And I came up with something today. I'm adding to my manuscript that, oh my gosh. I mean, last night, it almost weighed me down with my head and my heart. Wait a minute, I'm going to start sticking these under my feet. And that was just a thought that passed this morning on the beach for 2.5 hours. It says, and I felt like I was kind of raised to heaven almost. I mean, it was so beautiful all morning for 2.5 hours. And it says, just keep putting them under your feet and it'll lift you closer. Keep putting your circumstances on your feet, Fred. It will lift you closer to me. Keep putting your circumstances on your feet. Use them as a stairway to heaven. And that's what this is about. The hell with circumstances. I'm going to create opportunities. Circumstances are the rulers of the weak, but they're the instruments of the wise. And it's not that I'm wise. It's that I come from we're all the same way. We come from divine intelligence. We come from divine integrity. But put those stinking circumstances, every single one of us, and you're going to hear from Lizette today, who placed circumstances under her feet, and she was able to climb out of the hell that she was in, able to climb out of the well that she was thrown down, the hole she was thrown down, because she put circumstances under her feet and used them as a stairway. A happy person is not a person in a certain set of circumstances, but rather a person with a certain set of attitudes. And then we know Jim Rohn, you must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. That is something you have charge of. I changed myself this morning. I committed to 2.5 hours on the beach. I said, I'm going to figure this out. And I mean, it was like, folks, that stairway to heaven, circumstances are a stairway to heaven if you know how to use them. Dr. Viktor Frankl proved this in Auschwitz when he was sentenced to death, that the last of human freedoms they couldn't take from him was that ability to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstance, to choose on one's way. And that's who you're going to hear from this morning. Those that have been doing that. I'm going to talk to you about a few other things, and I'm going to share the links with you, but let's go ahead and get started. We got Lizette with us. There's Lizette Hernandez. Lizette, thank you for being here. We got Nikki DeFalco. And then we have another guest coming on, Elio, here in a little bit. He is a pharmacist, and he had a call into a clinic, but he thinks he's going to finish up in time to be with us. So, Lizette, you've been here now for the number of weeks with circumstances, and we're talking about that. But first, let's talk about real estate. You've been licensed how long?
I've been licensed since 2013.
2013.
I initially got licensed to have it as a backup while I was a full-time volunteer at my church. So I always had to have a backup. Just it's part of my circumstances. I have to have a plan B just in case. It's just my PTSD, right? Just like I have to be ready.
And how many properties do you sell a year?
About 32 to 33 units for the past 3-4 years.
Put in the chat. Is that good, guys? 32, 33 years. Where do you think that ranks in the national statistics? It's way up there, way up there. Now, 32 to 33. Now, what's your education? Formal education.
Oh, formal. Okay. So I have a bachelor's degree in business administration and marketing.
Okay.
Associates in the same. And other than that, I'm just a licensed real estate agent.
Okay.
And I'm a formal. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I'm also a mom of 5 and a wife.
Well,
and a business. Add to the resume.
Now you had a halfway decent education. Well, not halfway. Whoops, I'm sorry. You had a great, decent formal education, sounds like. And so, but you came from a family of really nice background, great genes, and you had no issues growing up. So you were always free to be a creative. And you've got this beautiful situation. You and your husband are madly in love, and he's a real successful person. So it enables you all the freedom you need to pursue real estate and do 32 deals a year. And he's makes a lot of money and all that kind of stuff, right? That's why you're successful. Is that correct?
Oh no, I mean oh no, there was a lot in between behind that, all that. I actually grew up in a household where my parents were always fighting growing up. They moved to Puerto Rico in 1989. I remember right after Hugo, they opened up a business, but I remember growing up, I went to school. I never saw my parents hardly ever because they were sleeping. And then I would get home alone with my brother, and they would get home 11, 12 o'clock at night from the business. And I grew up like that many, many, many years. So, I never got to go out and do that kind of stuff. I never had I didn't have a bad childhood. I just had to work with the circumstances where my parents were at the moment. And I'm very grateful, by the way, with my parents. I have nothing to complain about them.
And so fast forward, and I was being somewhat facetious that your circumstances are so great, it allows you to do 32, 33 sales a year, but yet you're a mom of how many children?
5 children.
And what age range?
21-year-old down to 5.
All the same mother, same father.
Same
So
father,
you've been married 20, how many years?
22 years in November. Now, actually next week.
So you have that kind of responsibility with the 5 children. Your husband, tell us about your husband.
My husband is, we're high school sweethearts, by the way. My husband is a war veteran. He was a 9/11 war vet in the Marine Corps. So he was the first unit. And so I just want to give a little background story. When you see him, he's all serious, but he's a very good person. What else can I say? I mean, I think he's the best. I'm very honored to walk with him in his journey. I love him. He struggles with PTSD, but I think he's a wonderful person. And I think that I admire him for everything that he does for us every day.
Well, but your husband is disabled, correct?
Yes.
And so his PTSD is so bad. You are kind of, I'm going to say this, and I don't mean it.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's not in a negative sense.
No.
but you have 5 children, but you also have a husband. If you have these emergency calls that you get, and that he is in the backyard suffering, and
Yeah.
without you, he wouldn't. He would really be in deep trouble. Is that correct?
Yeah, according to what he said, I mean, he's been deep conversation. He's like, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't because of you. And, like, I'm pretty much his only confidant. And, his therapist has told us, he's told him in front of me, what happens when she's gone, what happens when she's, I'm pretty much it.
Yeah, well, the reason I point that out, folks, is that this thing about circumstance, here you got an angel sitting here, and we're all angels, by the way, we just don't know it yet. But you got an angel sitting here that when you see her on the calls, you hear her talk, you go, oh, okay, there's just another person, blah, blah, blah. But when you start listening to people and you start saying, wait a minute, she has 5 children, 5 years old. Give us the ages, 5, and what's the next age?
5, 7, 14, 20, and 21.
21 live at home or gone?
No, they're gone. 2021 are in college.
Okay. Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But and then you have your husband, then you have all this, and you do 32 to 33 transactions a year, folks. This is all, and going back to mindset, it's not necessarily what you do or what you practice, what you don't practice. It's really what you are. Do you really see yourself as a creative being, someone that can do it no matter what, someone that says hell with circumstances, someone that keeps putting those circumstances as stair steps in her life? Now, when you first started out your marriage, last week you were talking about how you were so broke, how people kept kicking you down, how people started abusing you with their words. Tell us a little bit about that, your foundation, how you got financially, your mess that you were in, and how you pulled that off.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, it was a journey. When we first, my husband got out of the Marine Corps. Obviously I was 20 years old. I was very young. I didn't realize what was going on. So here I am. Grew up in a Puerto Rican household. So what do we do when your husband can't hold a job, or he starts a job, ends a job, and I come home and then he's home and I will start da 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 da. So we just got here. We bought a house, and at that moment when we first bought our first house, we had our first situation, and pretty much I was that was one of the first hurdles there, where I had to pretty much pay my first mortgage payment. I didn't know how the heck I was going to do it. So I met this girl. I tell everybody the story. I met this girl going out with another friend, and she's like, oh, I'm getting kicked out of my house. And I said, oh, you're getting kicked out of your house? Well, I'm actually, I'm looking for a roommate. I can't pay my mortgage. And she said, well, I'm looking for somewhere to stay. And she moved in with me with her kids. Point was that, we kind of, that didn't stop me from doing what I needed to do, even though I couldn't even pay my first mortgage. So I made $400 a week. $200 went to daycare, and $200 went to all the other expenses in the house with my roommate. And I had to kind of, work with that on a very tight budget. And then apart from that, I decided to start college, finish my bachelor's degree then at that moment at the same time. So how I did it, I don't know, but I did it. And that was just the beginning. After that, we lost 2 homes in 2010, in the sense that because all this was going on, the PTSD and all that, my husband and I got back together at one moment, but I wouldn't understand. So at some point I had to stop working on the street and be home because I needed to take care of the kids. My oldest 2 were there, and we were having, it wasn't nice. It wasn't pretty. It was very, very like what you see here. Like I said, if I told you details, and I there's things that probably I wouldn't share, not because of me, it's just to the respect for him. But there was a lot of situations where like I had to sell half my furniture. I had to sell my cars just to pay my power bill. I remember getting in the car, stuffing all my groceries in the trunk because I didn't have money to buy more, to go to my mom's house just so we can get the power turned on the next month. And it was like that. And then I was hustling on the street because my husband couldn't, he wasn't well. And I had to hustle on the street I did any network marketing. I did anything that would bring me money. I did it because I just didn't have a choice. I just had to bring in at least to pay my power bill. That was the goal, pay my power bill and make sure.
How many children did you have then?
At that time, I only had 2.
And living with a man that had a PTSD, which
Yeah.
I know what that's like. I counsel women who have gone through that hell, and because they take it out on you. I've been there, done that. I've seen it. It's real ugly situation. So I know what you went through. So, and then from there, when did you start coming out when people were telling you can't do it, but you kept it up and those things just started turning? How did you get things to turn around?
Oh no, there was no turning back. Like there was no option. There's no
No.
option. There was no option. It was either do it or do it. You know, it was either do what you got to do. And it's just, again, and because of for example, those first years out of the military, you know, again, I built up this thing where I'm like a survival mode, right? You kind of just say, there's no going back. You just have to make it work. It didn't matter the hours. It didn't matter the time. You know, if I have to bring my kids with me to do things, it didn't matter. It just had to get done.
Yeah. Now, when we were talking, you mentioned that there's a transition eventually from all that. You start getting out of the hell that you were in for a little bit, and then you started moving into volunteer work within a church, right? And then you actually started becoming full time, right?
Right. So what happened was in the middle of that hell, I call it. I call it the blessed hell. I'm going to say I'm grateful for
Blessed
even
hell.
bad situations, and I'll say this at the end. I'll mention why. But what happened was literally our cars, his license was suspended because we had no money. We were broke, and we were driving. And you know, we got some tickets. He got some tickets from the airplane, whatever. So his license was suspended. I was almost gonna get my license because we couldn't pay the tickets, and we were like, we're just. So the point was, I said, and I'm not trying to be superstitious. Honestly, this is what happened. I said, God, I don't know what you want from me. I really don't understand what is it that is going on. But is it because you want me to serve you or do so? Like, just tell me and give me a sign. And in between all these 2 or 3 years, I was working on trying to get his pension and going because we needed to do it. It just couldn't even. And like, I'm telling you, not even like 2 weeks later, he started getting his pension, started coming in, Social Security, his VA, like out of the blue. So Lizette here took it literal. She took it literal. And I said, you know what? That was a sign. So I went to my priest, to the parish. I say, hey, what do you need me to do? Because I want to volunteer. I want to do something. He didn't know where to put me. He just started.
How many children then when you went and did that?
3.
Now 3.
Oh, 3. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And obviously there's a lot of stories in between, but
I know. But when you were telling me, I just saw the whole thing in a capsule there. So then you took it serious. You actually started becoming a lay minister, right?
yeah. So I
service.
eventually became a lay minister because I started volunteering. I wanted more. Because I want to serve. I wanted to go dive in all the way in. I'm all the way in. I'm one of those. If you have me all the way in, I will go all the way in, like whatever we're doing. And yeah, so I started to serve. I got my license at the 13 BNC. So I built up, I learned, I dove into my community. I loved it. I cherished it. I became a youth minister. I work with at-risk teens, a lot of gang members, things like that. I had no clue about gangs, but all I could tell them was, listen, there's better ways to make money, all right, than stealing and breaking into cars while your mom is at work, okay? Or we go to court and I'm like, listen, you saw that 8-year-old, you know, trafficking, no mom and dad, your mom is here, you know. So these were the conversations that I was having, you know.
I love it, man. And then when did you get your license? When did you said 13 years ago? I mean,
2013. No,
2013. Yeah. So you're talking 8 years, 9 years ago. So because you had been serving so much when you got your license, people started kind of naturally, you started promoting, right? And then people that you were,
no promoting. No, I was very stickler about that in the church. I actually didn't like I never used
my. Well, you made it aware. I mean, you made it aware.
Oh no, they knew. Oh no, they kind of started figuring, oh, you're a realtor. I heard you. And then they started calling me, and then one went the other and the other and the other and the other.
Yeah.
And then so when I decided to dive into full-time real estate, it was like, it wasn't.
When did you do that? When did you go full-time?
It was 2017, 2018.
So 4 years ago.
Yes.
And since about then, you've been doing about 30 deal plus a year.
Correct. Yep. I started at 6 and 12 and then 30. Yeah, like 33. Like
you know, here's the thing. Again, you let those circumstances act as a stairway, right? You didn't know it in your head, but you just said there's no option. See, and we got to all decide that we will never, ever, ever get in control of our lives until we realize one thing: no one's coming to rescue us. And God Himself, He wants to get out of you what's in there, right? He not to get it out, but he wants you to go so far in, which you did, and you wouldn't quit. You wouldn't quit. So you just kept using those circumstances as your stairway. Now you've got 5 children. And you and your husband. I understand the struggles you've had, right? I'm sure there's been many discussions of divorce and all the other kinds of things, probably, right? With all the hell you all been through, but yet now you are here. Look at the smile, folks. And you're successful in your real estate career because of all the service that you do, that you did. So there you go. So anyway, I'm sure there might be some people asking about, but mainly you were telling me last night that most of your deals come from working the phones with your sphere of influence, correct?
Correct. Yeah. It's people I know.
Sphere of influence.
Correct. Like if there's a place I can work in my business is working with people that I don't know. That would be my struggle.
And last week we had Jessica Baskey to talk about that. She's very successful because she goes out and serves. She volunteers with it. Chris Dove is on with us also. She said the same thing, and about giving. So folks, let the circumstances rise you up. Life is not happening to you. Life is happening for you. And I had belief systems up until 2017 that taught me, and I love my little box that I lived in, but I hated it. And looking backwards, all my belief systems, not knowing they're the ones that really harm me the most. And when you start taking responsibility, 100% of everything in your life that you created, where you are today, you created it. You are the creator of your life. And that now you need to start taking those circumstances. That's why in my business planning that Christian Rockwell says is what was his foundation to do 42 deals in his first year in my business planning, is that's why we start with situations. And I get some people to put down 1 or 2 situations. That's BS. I mean, that is a real bad belief system. And matter of fact, I'll call bullshit on that one. None of us only have 2 situations in our life. So you got to start with your situations, really analyze them, say, okay, I created all these situations in my life. Now what's my mission? Right. So anyway, beautiful. Go ahead.
Yeah. You guys, like the way that this is like self-talk, and I want to share my self-talk with you guys. I do a lot of that. One thing that I say is become a good artist. Become a good artist in your own life and start building masterpieces with the situations you got. Don't look at what you don't have. Look at good or bad, and like become really good at like turning something ugly beautiful. Make it your goal every single day.
I love it.
Keep it simple. Take something ugly and become a master and artist about it. And you don't have to talk about it, just do it. And you'll see how it's gonna like become this ever-flowing light in your life.
Beautiful.
Hey Fred, can I just caveat on that real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, so some of you may know this. I've been sober for almost 19 years. And the philosophy is exactly the same as you were just talking about, right?
Yep.
You have to immediately believe that you are powerless. You cannot control a single thing in your life. And it's true. The only thing you can do is hang on for the ride and maybe suggest a direction. That's it.
That's
right?
it, man.
You have to be able to learn how to adapt on the fly. As long as you're honest with yourself, the right thing will happen. If you keep playing games and doing all this other stuff and not admitting the truth about who you really are to yourself, you will never go anywhere.
And not only the truth about yourself, Johnny, but also the truth that all of us have got to go inside and realize the real truth is we already got that kingdom in us. We already got that power within. Is it Tony Robbins talked about unleashing the power within? Every philosopher, every religious leader says the same thing. So that's what Lizette did. That's what you did, John. That's what all of us do through some of this other things in our life. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to die with this, and I'm going to spread it out. Every single one of us was designed to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. But we were programmed to shut up, sit down, and don't be creative, and don't tap the natural who you really are. And we don't know who we are because there's no truth. And the truth is the only thing that will set you free, but it makes you miserable in the process. There's no doubt about it. I just did that post on my Facebook. So Lizette, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Everybody on this call appreciates you. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And so I really, I mean, wow, what a story. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, now, hey folks, look up. And I don't know if they're in the top right-hand corner of your screen, but they're in the top right-hand corner of mine. There's two people with the same last name, and actually they match my last name, except they spelled it incorrectly. They don't use a capital F. Don't know how that happened. But there's Nikki DeFalco and Jay DeFalco. But Nikki DeFalco is our guest this morning. Nikki is yeah, she hangs out with Jay a little bit. I think how many years now? 18. How many years?
Yeah, 18 years
Eight-
in December.
18 years. So anyway, 3 years ago, they got their license. Jay came to see me, drove all the way down from Ocala and talked with me about this, what our brokerage, eXp Realty, I had just started. And he wanted to talk about, Nikki came down, she was getting her license. She had a lot of dear friends at Keller Williams, had a team going. And so a really interesting story that Jay would go with, with eXp Realty. Nikki decided to join her friends in a team, which both of them got served very well by their decision. Both of them. And that's why you can't allow belief systems to rule. Because if there was a belief system that, well, Jay should have made a decision, or Nikki should have made a decision, or Nikki would have put the emotional pressure on Jay, or Jay would have put the male-female pressure. Well, all this nonsense we all have in these belief systems. But they were so beautiful. When Jay supported her, she supported him. And what happened to both of those careers were unbelievable, because the circumstances, when you think about, wait a minute, you're going to go down, I'm going to go, you could really create ugly stuff out of it. But they did what Lizette just said. With that decision, they made a beautiful situation. But Nikki, the reason I want her on the day is a little bit of a different approach that she joined a team. How many deals do you do a year, Nikki?
I did 50 last year.
That's all? Where does that rank in the national average, right?
I
So-
don't know.
Yeah, well, it ranks really high for sure. So anyway, you did 50 last year, and you know you did really well with the team. Now you just recently decided that you and Jay, and no pressure from anybody, just a natural occurrence, let life happen. She's now joined Jay and his, and they're working together now as a husband and wife team with eXp Realty. And it's going to really be interesting when you mix those two together, because synergy is 1 and 1 always equals 3 or greater. 3 or greater. That's what synergy is. Our group is called GPS. You know, and it's growth, partnership, and synergy. Synergy means that we got 59 people on the call. There's really the power of 300, because that we're creating synergy right now. So I can't wait to see what you two create with your synergy. But talk a little bit about your experience in a team, and do you encourage it if someone is struggling, because it's a little bit, you know, just talk about your experience, you know, your first 3 years and how you're doing 50 deals a year, that type of thing.
Yeah, so I am happy that I did join the team. I love the team. It was great as being a new agent and not having been in the field before, didn't have a lot of contacts, you know, for leads and things like that. So it was a great way to get started, have a lot of support that way. Yeah, you know, when Jay started, he also had a full-time job, so as well that he was doing. So, but this was going to be my full-time gig right from the beginning. So I felt like I needed that support from my friends that were on the team as well. And they set me up with systems and things like that, and just following their systems, had leads coming in, just started rolling from there, and just making the calls every day. I remember for first month after being licensed, literally locking myself in the bedroom on my laptop, cold calling for hours a day. And sure enough, the first week I did that, I showed houses that weekend to the first person that, you know, would let me, and got in a contract. And that just really spurred me on, like, wow, I can do this. And the team was there to support me the whole way. So as a new agent, I definitely do recommend starting on a team if you're feeling like you're, you know, a little bit lost, or you need some more guidance or things like that. It was really beneficial to me.
Yeah, cool. And not don't misread this, but your first year, how many deals did you do?
So first calendar year,
Yeah, just roughly.
I did. Okay, that was August. I'm trying to see. Okay, here's my 2020. I did 29 deals in 2020.
29. And so when you're on a team, that's equal to like half of that, because of your
Yeah,
commissions,
correct.
because they want to give it.
Yes.
So that, but that's a lot of experience. That's phenomenal. That's really phenomenal. And then Jay was a little bit different with the entrepreneurial spirit. He had a business and all that kind of stuff. And you probably did your first year, Jay, you did what, about 15, 16, right?
Yeah, I think I did 17, I believe.
17. There you go. Isn't that interesting? So It might be, for some people, it's a team, and that's what you're going to have to do. However, she had a real great relationship with the people already and a little bit different. And there's some teams that are good. There's some teams that are not, but you had a beautiful relationship with those people. So there's all kind of ways to approach this business, right? But again, it wasn't, Nikki, you didn't join the team and all of a sudden they started giving you leads, because every time, I'm going to say this to everybody,
Right.
you never want to say in front of me, do I get any leads? Folks, if you're looking for fish, you are going to die in this business. Learn to build a fish factory, learn to fish. That's what Nikki did. I just heard you say something. You didn't say, I joined a team. And, oh yeah, and it was great because you said, I joined a team, but I locked myself in the room. The prospect.
Yeah.
Right. So
Everything.
so team's not magic, right?
No.
You still had
No.
to do the work.
They'll give you the tools, the tools and training is there, but you have to do the work. They're not coming to you. You have to do the work.
And not publicly, but just like every other couple. I know you guys haven't been in all marital bliss, all the 20 years you've been together. I know you haven't been.
There's always up and downs. Yeah.
Of course. And then plus working together in the same business sometimes. So been some challenges there.
Yeah, and we're this year has been a lot better. Last year, I had almost switched over. It was when I really started thinking about it, only because we were having some friction, because we were both in the office back to back every day, both making our phone calls, trying to do our thing, but not together. And I was struggling because I didn't want to hurt either one of us, with us both trying to do the same thing, but also worried about meshing things since we were with different brokerages. So we had conversations about that and got through that. And I really, made me realize to get out of my head that it's not really a big deal that we're working for two different brokerages. We're not in competition, blah, blah, blah. So that I was kind of creating some friction because of my fear of that. So after we had those conversations, we've been doing so much better this past year. This year, 2022, with working together, helping each other out, being more supportive of each other's businesses. And so it's really just kind of naturally started meshing things together to make this change.
You said two things. I got out of my head. I had to get out of my head. Right. Again, you got out of the left side of your head, your left side of the brain, right? The analytical brain. You went to the right side, the creative side, right? And circumstances will vary you folks if you use your left brain. What Lizette just said, become an artist, that's the right brain, right? That we've talked about all these years. So, and then you said, I had to get out of my head because I didn't want to operate in fear.
Correct.
False education appearing real, false evidence appearing real. And you could have created the circumstances. Jay, do you really have to talk so loud on the phone? Hey, Jay, you got your stuff all spread over mine. Hey, Jay, there could have been some jealousy. How many deals you have? Well, how many I have? You got the egos in there, but look at the beautiful thing you two have created. It's phenomenal. I'm so proud of you, man. And both of you. Jay, I remember when I would go up and because they were up in Ocala and our families, unfortunately, really weren't as close as I would have loved them have been with Jay's grandfather, which is my uncle, is his grandfather, my father's brother. But anyway, I'm so proud of you, man. It's unbelievable. I remember sitting with you 3 years plus ago, whatever it was, when you came down. And it's just great. I knew you were going to make it. I knew you were going to do well, right? But and by the way, Jay doesn't come from a background of high education, this, that, and all this formal education. He had a business with your grandfather, right, Jay? My uncle, your grandfather, landscaping. My uncle was a nursery guy all his life, made millions and millions and millions in nursery and then real estate. Basically, he made his millions in real estate. But Jay, by the way, I don't want to get personal, but it's not like his grandfather left a whole lot of money either. He made my uncle was really weird. Probably
Zero.
Not. And that amazing after you work from all those years, that's another story. But there's a circumstance. Here's a guy that could have got bitter, and Nikki could have got bitter. I married into this. I thought maybe, but again, those circumstances are going to make these two. Life didn't happen to them; it happened for them. So it's just incredible. It's incredible what you guys have done. Really, I'm so proud of you. Well, talk about mindset a little bit. Your daily practice of how you keep your mindset, your attitude properly, because it's your attitude, not your aptitude, that has determined your altitude. You guys are at a kind of a very high altitude compared to the industry averages because of your attitude, not your aptitude. So talk a little bit about that, your mindset, and how you guys keep your attitude fresh and keep going and all that.
Do you want to go first, Jay?
Well, this is
Well,
your show, not his. I only had him on as
I remember something that both you and George have preached to us many, many times. And for me, I've made quite a few amazing relationships in this business. And you always told me, Jay, no matter what, pick up your phone, just pick the phone up, have the conversation, make the relationship. I have a wonderful relationship with some investors now. Nikki and I are now going to be responsible for leasing out more than 350 apartment units. Each time we rent one of those out, it's going to pay over $1,000 each. So that's been amazing. If Nikki goes by calendar year, I go by capping year. I mean, I'm already up to 98 transactions for this capping year, and I've still got another couple weeks between my leasings and the sales transactions that I have. And you got to remember, Nikki's numbers are completely separate from my numbers. But now as a team, I'm really curious to see where we're going to go. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 200 transactions this year coming up. So it's just going to be really great. But I just remember what you said. I mean, I even have the personal cell phone number of a NFL. He owns an NFL team here in Florida. So I have the personal phone number of a multi-billionaire, and all because I just answered the phone one day. So that's, creating relationships has really been key to the success on my side of the business.
You mean to tell me you don't have a voicemail that says, "Oh, yeah, hey, just leave a message," but for faster response, text me. You pick the phone up. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I get a chance, I try to pick that phone up.
I love it, man. I just love it. You know what, folks? I hope this call is encouraging. And Lizette and Nikki and Jay, and then I've got someone from a totally different angle coming on here. I'm hoping Elio can join us. Elio, are you on by chance? Not yet. Okay. He may not be able to step on, but I'll tell his story a little bit. But what else, guys? What else can you add?
I did want to say something. Oh, sorry. Oh no,
Go ahead.
I listened to Nikki, and I should have probably mentioned this she talked about closing herself up in a room. And I probably should have mentioned it too. When I started at Keller Williams full time, that I was like, I'm going to do this. There was no my husband just broke his foot, got in a motorcycle accident. And I was like, she said, there was no leaving the office until I had a bar appointment each day, at least. Right. And literally that was it. So what I'm saying is, you got to get in the mindset that it's got to happen no matter what. Even if I had to leave the office, cook dinner, go back to the office, or take care of my husband, I had to go back to the office, and it had to lock yourself up in the room, make the calls. You got to make it, and what you focus on expands. That stuck with me in bold. What you focus on. And so I kept that. And that's another thing, picking an affirmation to keep your mind on track, like every single day. But I just wanted to piggyback on what Nikki said, because you don't get to pass go until you pay the toll. You don't get to, to the other side until you do the work, right? So you got to put those limits on yourself, because we are the worst people to keep accountable to ourselves, right? We need to, we can't. So that was it. Sorry, Nikki.
No, man. That's what it's all about. And, I was telling someone yesterday that's on the call, because they're just getting started. They had a really, really tough time. And I said, look, stop thinking of everything else. You got to picture yourself as a seed sower. You just got to sow seeds. Is that correct, Jay, Nikki, and Lizette? It's seed sowing. It's, there's some religious parable. It says, it's all about seed sowing, right? So sowing the seeds, then you'll reap the harvest. And that's what you all three have been doing, and just a great seed sowers. Anything else, Nikki, Jay, for the group?
Yeah, I mean, we just work, as hard as we can, but this year we've also focused on, and I think I mentioned it the other day in the meeting, but focused on also giving ourselves some scheduled time off. Because I know, especially like 2020 hit, everything kind of froze a little bit, and then it just took off, and we just rolled with it. And that's why we did so much last year. And 50 transactions is great. But but I want more time with my family. So I'm
There you go.
okay if this year I don't hit 50 transactions, because I want more time with what's really important to us. So we have worked on that also. But you know, even though we've scheduled more times for ourselves this year, had more time off, we are already made more money than we did last year.
Yep.
It just goes together, I think, because you know your brain needs that time. You need that time with your family. You need, because it motivates us to want to do more, to look forward to the next time that we're going to be able to do things like that. And so it's just the importance to me of not getting burnt out and continuing to enjoy this together, this career together. It does amaze me, because I just ran the numbers this morning and we've made more money than we did last year, with me doing 50 transactions and him also doing real estate full time. So
Yep.
having more time off, but I guess we're working smarter, not harder.
Nikki, I'm so glad you brought that up. Number one, you said, maybe I won't do 50 because we're going to take more time off. Just the opposite. Because once you let go and whatever you do, don't let the business run you, you run it. And the better you get at time blocking, and the more you're going to hire, you're going to now treat it like a business because you have the money to do so. You're going to hire 1 or 2 or 3 virtual assistants, and you're going to have that. You're going to leverage. Remember the document we went over yesterday, leveraging your practice.
Yep.
There's a lot of good things in there, right? Very powerful things, leveraging your practice. So once you leverage, you're going to be able to do 100 in less time, because that's what happens in any other company as they're growing. They put systems in place, and you and Jay are there. That's where you are. You watch what happens. So time block is what it's all about.
Yes.
So, okay, folks. Hey, we have our other guests here. Hey, Nikki, Jay, Lizette, thank you. Now, Elio even changed his name for me, okay? I'm a gringo, and I mess up every name. By the way, Elio's a pharmacist. He got tied up in an appointment he didn't expect. Lizette was speaking, also from Puerto Rico. And so Elio, look at this. He changed his name because he didn't want me to mess it up in front of him. Because it's pronounce your name is Eline or Elione.
So Elione, yeah.
Elione. So how you like that? I had to go to pronouncenames.com so I didn't mess it up. And now you changed it on me. How nice to you. Because he said, Fred, just call me Elio. I said, I don't like people changing their name because I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, I want to show you something. When did you, well, matter of fact, I have it right here. 1 second. I'm going to show you something. Different story. How many sales do you have under your belt, Elio?
I'm on the contract right now with one house.
Look at this, folks. He joined on September the 4th. How much is it? 400,000, correct?
Yes.
Okay. This is he started 9/9/04, September the 4th. But look at this chart. He, in 3.5 years, has aced this for me. I'm the most proud of his diligence. Look at this. Already has done his first sale. Full-time pharmacist, doctor of pharmacy, runs a very, very large pharmacy for Walmart. Oh, you have one store or multiple stores? I forget.
So I'm a manager at one store, yes.
Manager pharmacy. And look at this. Look at this. Is there any question why he already has a $400,000 sale? His attitude, folks, as Jay and Nikki and Lizette was talking about. I mean, this is absolutely the record for me of how someone has moved through this and diligent. I use this G Drive for all the agents now coming in. He's already done his Enneagram. He's done, he's come in here. I have a checklist for their needs and wants, and he's just killing it with his homework. Look at this. In 1 month. 1 month, you want to know how to succeed? This is what Christian Rockwell talked about. This is what Jay did. They showed up. Almost ended the meeting. I don't want to do that. They show up. There's the attitude they approach it with. Jay got 12 deals off of our workplace in relocation deals, right, Jay? Your first year, about 12 deals because he listened to me. He did the systems. He showed up, and watch what Elio does. So Elio, we talk a lot about circumstances and not letting circumstances rule us, and not putting them in our head or allowing them to go to our heart, but treating them as stepping stones to go higher and higher and higher. And it is your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude. And already I see your altitude $400,000 sale, less than 1 month in the business. So take it, buddy. Talk about mindset, skill set, will set, and your experience so far.
So yeah, so I mean, thankfully, I got a really good sponsor, which is Fred. My mentor, Christian, he's a rock star. Like, I mean, any questions that I may have, they're answered. Doesn't matter what it is. Like, it's just a great system. It's so structured. I like structure. I work with structure. So everything's there. I mean, the tools are there. It's really up to you if you want to use them or not.
And when you got your license, why did you get your license? Tell them a little bit about your story when you got your license at first. Oh, he's at work, by the way. If he gets interrupted, I got him. He's at work and he's coming home with it. I love it.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Yeah, when did you get licensed the first time, and talking about your experience in Puerto Rico?
So I was 18 years old when I started real estate. I was in Puerto Rico, basically because my aunt was doing it. But I had a whole different mindset. I had it, and I just think I had it because I was 18. I'm a real estate licensed agent. I didn't really do nothing with it. I just had it, basically flash it around. I mean, again, it's all about mindset. My mindset is totally different 12 years later. Again, we have all the tools. They're there to be used. If you don't sell a house or if you don't do the work, you're not gonna do anything. You're just gonna be someone else in real estate.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You started something else. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Yes.
Oh, I think there's a little delay there. Elio, let me ask you a question because I'm really not familiar with pharmacy, of course, right? But I'm assuming that, when you get a prescription to fill, it's okay if you just do it in a hurry without diligence, correct? It doesn't matter if you mix it up once in a while, does it? Does it matter?
Oh, no, there's no room for error here in pharmacy. I mean, that's how I approach everything in my life. Like, there's no room for error, which is good and bad. Part of my sabotage is too perfectionist, and that's, again, good or bad.
You got to the positive intelligence yesterday?
I did it yesterday night.
Yeah. By the way, folks, everyone knows what IQ is. Everyone knows what EQ is, but not very few people I meet know what PQ is. And that's positive intelligence. Go to positiveintelligence.com, look up saboteurs, take the test. What is your saboteur? And I knew what you were going to come out at. You hadn't shared it with me yet. So you came out as a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, again, these things serve you, but they all, my greatest strengths, right, are my greatest weaknesses. So is everyone else. So, but anyway, let's get to the point of no room for error, folks. There's no room for error in anything in life. The unexamined life is not worth living. The unexamined business is not worth having. The unexamined relationship is not very fulfilling. The unexamined finances is not worth, blah, blah, blah. Socrates, the unexamined life is not worth living. So, sometimes, I'll try real estate. I'll go to one of the masterminds in the morning, but I don't need to. Think of Elio filling a prescription, because you may not, if he misfills a prescription, you could cost someone their life, correct?
Yes.
If you guys, when you play real estate, if he played pharmacy, someone dies. You play real estate, you're dead financially. I talk to people that have been in the business 10 years. They were good for about 3 or 4 years. They lost it, can't get it back, and blah, 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 blah. And why? It's because they're not filling the prescription. They don't have that mindset. I love that mindset, by the way. No room for error. I'm going to steal that. By the way, we branded you when you first came in. What's your branding?
It's the My Real Estate Doctor.
My Real Estate Doctor at gmail.com. My Real Estate Doctor. Your website is going to be that one wasn't exactly what was the website?
It's redoctor.net.
Yeah, RE Doctor. Yeah. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. Watch out, folks. What happens at Elio's? Anything else with the mindset, skill set, will set?
What you put into the business is what you get out of it. If you're not getting your results, you're for sure doing something wrong, or just not doing anything at all and expecting everything to come to you. I'm offering my services in the chat for open houses. If you guys are busy, I went with Dora. I don't know if she's in the call right now or there. I went with her. I just help her out. I mean, it's just the amount of time you put into it. I mean, I'm not full-time as a real estate agent, and I'm still doing every day I'm off, I'm still doing everything I can to just get there to people to know me.
When you knocked out, and by the way, you have a new baby on the way. Congratulations. When is she due?
Yes. baby
she
girl
do?
on March 8th.
March
March
8th.
8th.
Wow. And a full-time job as a pharmacist. And by the way, you don't work only 40 hours a week, correct?
No. I put in almost 46 hours a week per payroll. Yeah.
And he knocked that checklist out, folks. Come on. Let's use that as our example. All right. Thank you all so much. I'm going to allow some open. I'm going to put some things in the chat. Let me just share one thing here with you. Here's where your power is if you want it, if you so to choose. Again, I have so few people that are doing the business plan, but yet Christian was on here and he said he gave his complete credit to this business plan, then getting out and making the calls as everyone was talking about. And I it's amazing. I keep saying this over and over and over again, and I am still baffled why people are not coming in here and doing this. I just am baffled. So I'm going to make you your viewer only because I don't, you can download anything you want. The 3-year business plan in there, that series on circumstances is in there. The series on how to do the business plan is in there. I mean, I have poured out over and over and over again, all these things. I'm gonna put this in the chat. If you're not familiar with Google Docs, make sure you get used to Google Docs. Just copy and paste this and put it on a Word doc or put it in an email and send it to yourself so you don't ever lose it. There's so much power, and there's 45 years of me creating multimillionaires in the real estate business. And if you don't take advantage of this, just go get a job. Really, I'm serious. I'm going to start getting a little bit more direct. You've got to invest. You've got to do it. That 3-year business plan is second to none. Let me share another thing with you here. This is a event that if you're in South Florida by the chance, this is Real Estate Beach Bash. It's happening tomorrow. We've had it all out over the internet. You should follow me on YouTube. I mean, on social media, Facebook and all, because you'll get all this stuff all the time. I'm one of the speakers here. This is tomorrow in Deerfield Beach. The lineup is absolutely the most powerful lineup you can imagine. By the way, all put on by EXP. And if you have people in any area, you should get on there and invite them, buy them a ticket. I don't care where you are. If you know anyone within a 50-mile driving distance of South Florida, you should buy them 6. Hey, I bought you something. It's $199. I'm just a guest speaker. That's not my thing. Building a business. We have Frank McKinney coming in. It is absolutely, these are 2 keynotes. Look at this guy here. He's an EXP guy in Texas. I love Cliff, phenomenal guy. I gave him a free book. Here you go. Talking about giving, like Lizette was talking. I gave Cliff a free book of Frank McKinney's Aspire that I've been promoting to everyone here, and only about 5 of you bought it. Cliff got a hold of that book. He now is using Frank McKinney for guest speaking and all. They've now created a relationship. They brought me in, all because I gave a book away. So that's the other thing is the Mind Body Mastermind Facebook group. Go to Mind Body Mastermind, Fred DeFalco. Again, I keep saying this, I only have 170 members. And how many of you don't take advantage of this stuff that I'm doing for you guys? You're making a horrible mistake. There's stuff in here to build your health, to build your wealth, to build your happiness. Join this group. Mind Body Mastermind, facebook.com/groups/Mind Body Mastermind. I'll put this in there. I got to put the beach bass in there also. Let me do this. Unfortunately, I got to do this in order to get these right. And then I'm going to open it up to questions. Please start putting your questions in the chat. That's the Mind Body Mastermind. I will now share the beach bash. I'm telling you, if you get someone there, another agent from another company, and they come there, you're going to be hearing from them. I guarantee you, because when they see this lineup, the panels that are there, it is going to be a powerful, powerful event. I'm going to put that in there for you. So open it up to questions. Put them in the chat. Let me see if I missed anything. If anybody else can, Andre, scan the chat for me. See if there's any questions. Raise your hands if you have a question, or if you can all just shout out. Anybody? We still have our guest on. No questions? Comments? I think we overwhelmed them, Lizette and Nikki and Jay and Elio. Any comments? Takeaways? Lizette, go ahead.
Oh, no, no. I honestly, thank you for inviting me, and everybody, thank you for allowing me a space to share. That is part of my journey. I had a good friend of mine. She's been telling me for the past year, you need to share your story. You need to share your story. And I keep telling her, no, but it's too, I don't think people, I start putting all these excuses, but I think today was meant to be. I needed to come and talk about, just didn't matter, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, to talk about a little bit about my life, because it's also good for me. Thank you.
Lizette, you are fulfilling. A Course in Miracles says we all are healers to one another, right? And as I heal, as I help others heal, I heal. I've been doing it all my life. I never realized it, but we all are healers. Number one. Number two, Krista kind of, I don't want anybody to misunderstand us when she was talking, because when she started sharing, she used the word, I'm not so special. And we've already gone through that and defined it more, but we don't realize how everybody now, not the story, poor me, this happened, that happened. That's in the past, but the story of how you're blossoming through life, good, bad, or indifference, and not complaining and all that kind of stuff. But the fact, what am I learning from it? Because these circumstances, life is happening for us, not to us. These are designed to get rid of all the, there's a biblical, analogy which you're familiar with, being a lay minister in the Catholic Church, and Jay and Nikki, part of Jehovah's Witness Church, we're all familiar with these parables from all walks. And that is, it's like God removing the dross. The dross is the bad stuff in silver, right? He has to put it in the fire, and it removes the dross so we all can become silver and we can become precious. Look at the diamond, how it is made with all the pressure. We've got to learn. And the title of success is what, Andres? I'm putting him on the spot. What is the title? What is the definition of success, Andres?
The artful management of failures and setbacks.
You get $25, Bert. Success is the artful management of failures and setbacks. This morning on that beach, I was managing my failures. I was managing my setbacks.
Nobody told me I was supposed to play Jeopardy today, Fred. I was not prepared for that.
I was artfully managing, folks, and I'll tell you
I'll take Jedi quotes from Fred DeFalco for 200, please.
Oh, I love it, man. Anybody else? All right, come on. Any questions? You got some great people here, man. No? All right, cool. Did I miss anything to chat, Andres? That's important.
Well, I do want to say, if one thing, somebody direct message me, and of course, I'm not going to name, but I know there's a lot of people out there. If you're thinking like you're drowning yourself in your mind, that you can't do it, that I'm ashamed, you're walking in shame, that in my life, listen, you're not alone. There's a lot of people out there going through you or worse or better, whatever you want to call it. You're not alone. Don't be afraid to share or ask and say, hey, I listened to you. I want to say to the person that direct, thank you for messaging me, because that takes more courage to say, hey, I'm going through, like, hey, I'm done. I'm ready for something different, because you can't walk alone. The candle is unlit, and you got to light the candle with another candle walking with you, right? You got to walk with somebody. You got to light that candle with somebody else.
Liz, oh my gosh, I don't want to get off the call. The analogy of a fire, right? Try to light one stick on fire and see how warm you'll get. Doesn't work very well. But add a few more sticks, add a few more logs. The next thing you have a bonfire. That's exactly what you're talking about. And our issue in life is what Earl Nightingale, one of my mentors, said many years ago. The problem with those that are not succeeding is one simple thing. They're standing before the stove of life, and they keep saying, life, give me some heat and I'll give you wood. And we have it mixed up. You all been dealt with boards and logs and all this stuff, but you're taking and you're piling them up and you're throwing them in the fire of life, and you're getting heat back from it, a good heat. And so Earl Nightingale, the problem with most, they stand before the stove of life and they say, give me heat before they put anything in it, any logs in it. So I love that analogy. It's the same way with the candle. I love it. Many of you have been in services or wakes or all kinds of things, where they do the candle lighting, and the room starts getting darker. They have a few lights, and as they bright up, these little candles. I just experienced at a yoga retreat in Tennessee, same thing. these little candles, after 200 people light them, these little candles, the whole room is bright. And that's what you're talking about. That's why you need to show up on these calls every day, and never miss a Wednesday for sure, because of people like this. I'm so excited about this new approach to power panels. Stay tuned for next week, man. So, all right, nothing else. We'll turn it over to the after party, and please get that Google Docs. That is your ignition. That's your launch pad. Take that business plan. Elio said, if anyone needs help with anything, you call or text me. How about that, man? redoctor.net. Oh, hey, is the website launched, Elio? Are you pointing it to the EXP?
Yes, it is.
You're
Yes.
pointing it to the EXP?
Yes.
Did you change the name of the EXP site already?
So that I got a message back that I couldn't because that wasn't the legal form it showed on my license.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you open your site, do you have it branded RE Doctor?
Yes. Yes.
Folks, 1 month. He's already mastering KB Core. 1 month. I love it. It's not, you may say, well, he's a doctor, he's a smart guy, blah, 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 blah. It's attitude, folks. Watch what happens. It's his attitude, not his aptitude, that determines his altitude, without a question. I got to go look at it. I'm excited. All right, Tiff, whoever's the after party, thank you all, guys. Thank you so much. That was a phenomenal call. I really appreciate it. Thanks. I think Tiff's on the phone. So who's taking the after party? Knock, knock. Nobody. All right. I guess no after party. Tiff looks really.
Fred, did you see what I wrote in the comments?
Let me see. If you let failure rent space in your head, your home will go into foreclosure. Do not be afraid to reach out to another realtor for help. Thank you so much. You're right. By the way, there's multiple ways to save your property. I just had someone ready to go to sale, and so please, you're right. Reach out. Yeah, you don't. No one ever should go to foreclosure, especially if you. I will be able to prevent that for you for sure.
No,
So
I meant it as
Oh, you mean a personal foreclosure? Oh, you're muted or something.
yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, in your head.
Yeah, your house. Yeah,
It's a metaphor, Fred.
Yeah, I got it. I'm slow, Jonathan. I'm slow, man. Because I'm always thinking a little bit too far ahead, I guess. All right, so super. Who is that commercial real estate and lending there? Who is that? With real thinking. Look at that thinker there. Commercial real estate lending. Is that Lydia? I know. Who is that?
Hi, it's me, Lydia. I was muted.
You got so
Fred-
much light in the back. You're real dark. I couldn't see it.
Yeah, it's because I've got the sliding. I'm at my bar in my kitchen, but I need to catch up with you later today. There's some things that I want to discuss with you.
She's at the bar already. Is that your secret to success? What are you talking about?
Yes, the bar in my kitchen. Unfortunately, it's just coffee. It is just coffee.
All right. Well, listen. Yeah, catch up with me then. Perfect. Text, whatever. And we'll definitely, Lydia. Matter of fact, we got to get you on the panel shortly, Lydia.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that off-market deal I got down in Hollywood.
All right, fantastic. How much?
8 million.
Woo, baby. Hey, Chris, do you hear that? 8 million. That's your next one.
I know, competition.
You're gonna quit playing with those 1,750,000 deals.
Listen, we went for 1.75. Now I'm looking at a 4. So I'll be.
Oh, that's
big
right.
dogs here
I
shortly.
forgot. She called me about a 4 million commercial. Yeah, I love it. Folks, please, by the way, anybody else left on the call, I keep teaching my agents all I'm exposed to on my Wednesday noon calls. Don't forget my Wednesday noon call. And if you're trying to attract agents every Wednesday at noon. But I teach agents, and Chris, first time I met her, I said, raise your antennas. You're not in the house business. We think that way. Elio, when he wrote his first bio, he started talking about, dream homes. Don't use that word. You're in the real estate business. You're a real estate master. You belong to you belong to a powerful real estate group. That's why we're talking about this. Chris Dubb did a commercial deal 8 days after she joined our team because I got her to put her antennas up. You're a real estate masters. You're not house masters, even though Jonathan calls himself. By the way, Jonathan, we got to talk about that. You're not a house master. By the way, you got to get into commercial too. So you know, you're a real estate master. Okay. You hear me, Jonathan? You still on? No more house masters. He's gonna hate me for that. He loves that. You're in the real estate business. So, all right, cool. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you more than you know, and make it a terrific day. Tiffany is still engrossed in that call. Okay, I think I'll have to end the call here. Look at her smile. She's away. That's a great call she's on. All right. Anybody else? Master after party. Hey, let's call Deborah Deere. Deborah, good morning. Hi, Deborah. She's been our guest for 2.5 years now. I just love it every time I see her on here with us. Oh, she must be multitasking. Okay. Ciao, everyone. Good seeing you. Bye-bye. Tiffany's engrossed. Great call. Thanks. Bye.